Welcome to another episode of the Business Growth Accelerator. My name is Brandon, your Chief Business Strategist, and I have an amazing guest for you here today, Mr. Alan Stern, who is an expert in all things marketing and AI, and he is going to give you some deep dive insights on what you need to do to get your personal brand out there by leveraging the tools and the technology of today. Alan, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, thank you so much. And, before we get started, Brandon, I just want to say thank you again for the opportunity. I look forward to jamming out with you and your audience today and just giving some value nuggets.
Absolutely. Yeah. Appreciate you taking the time to come on this afternoon. I know you're a busy guy and, excited to have you here. Let's dive right in really. Alan, give us a little bit of your background. What got you into the sales and marketing deal and how did you eventually start your own business?
Yeah, definitely. So, my background, let's just call it for the past 2 decades, has consisted of me owning a DJ company, which I still do, and selling cars. Two completely unrelated fields. But the one thing that they have in common is the fact that I've had to learn how to make the phones ring without spending any money. While I was selling cars, my plan of prospecting was to go out, get involved in the community, hit a bunch of networking events. And what I found is I can go to an event and maybe meet a handful of people, or I can do a speaking engagement on a topic that benefits everybody. In this case, do it yourself marketing and get in front of a way bigger audience. So started a business by accident, actually doing that. And excited to be here to jam out with you and talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. And that's funny. And we've been kind of connected for a while and I've been following you in the shadows. And I was trying to think back on how we actually got connected. And when you said cars, that was it. I think we probably connected in one of the car groups on Facebook or something of that sort, because as many people know, I sold cars myself for 11 years at a Ford dealership. So
I
very
did not
interesting.
know that. We got
Yeah.
to. It's funny. I was thinking the same thing. It was the H7 network. That's who connected us.
Okay. All right. So it was there, but then you were in the cars as well. Okay. Gotcha. So it just made more sense to keep the connection going there. So recently, I saw you put out a post or a call regarding personal branding and microsites, and kind of piqued my attention just due to the fact that I'm more of a direct response guy, but I always love to learn more about other types of branding and marketing to kind of make the mix more, I don't know, robust, so to speak. So tell me a little bit more about that avenue that you're kind of diving into now and how that is, one, helped you out, and two, how you're helping other entrepreneurs get out into the local market.
Yeah, definitely. So here's one thing that I've learned just about business and in life is there's always opportunity in underserved markets. So for example, here, what a microsite is, it's technically a landing page. It's a sleek one-page website that says everything about you, who you are, the individual, social media handles, and how to get a hold of you. Why is that important? Because before people buy from a brand, they buy from a person who represents a brand. And let's say that you're a salesperson inside of a company, whether you sell cars, you're a realtor, a loan officer, insurance agent, speaker, coach, whatever it is, generally speaking, you don't need to have a full blown 5 to 10 page website. You don't. It's overkill. You overwhelm a lot of your guests with information that they're just not going to read. But on the other hand, people need something that's a little bit more elaborate than a digital business card or a dot, a blank, an OVU, a link tree, something like that. So I bridge that gap with microsites. For the people who want first name, last name.com, but don't want to shell out 3 to 5K for a full blown website, that's the niche that I'm going after with those.
Gotcha. Makes perfect sense. And funny that you're bringing this out to the limelight. When I was moved up here to Ohio and was selling for one of the Ford dealerships in Columbus, I made my own microsite and didn't even know what I was doing, how to do it, and things like that. So maybe I knew something that I really didn't know then, and it did help. Gave me a little bit more credibility. I gave out more information to help people buy cars and generated my own emails outside of the dealership. That way, if I had ever moved, I had my own list, because technically I wasn't allowed to take, if I was fired or left, I couldn't take any of those customers with me. So it's
For sure. Well, and the best part is you were way ahead of the times. I started doing the exact same thing in the car business. They say closing is the art, but creating opportunities is the science. You can close every single deal that you touch, but it won't really do me much good until you create opportunities for you to sell. So it's very smart of you to start digging your well before you were thirsty when you were at the dealership.
Absolutely. So, talk a little bit more about the branding side and the biggest benefits that somebody can get outside of what the ultimate goal is to get the lead.
Yeah, so the way that I see it, again, I believe so strongly in this concept that the reason why I named my company Persona Marketing is truly because before people buy from a brand, they buy from a person who represents a brand. And in this world where AI is, I'm not going to say it's taking over, but it's certainly becoming the norm. It's going to disrupt a ton of industries. We are more connected as a society than ever as far as technology, but we've also become that much more disconnected to the point where people really want that human touch. They want that relationship. So the idea of branding yourself is very simple. Is there's only one of you. And you know what? People say, well, you know what, there's resistance to sales. There is resistance to sales if you attempt to sell everybody everything. But when you become a resource based off of building a personal brand on giving value and showcasing your expertise, now all of a sudden people feel comfortable reaching out to you because they know how you can actually help them. And you're not just trying to sell whatever product or service that it is, you have their best interest in mind. So, as far as personal branding goes, you know what? Take the realtors, the loan officers, the insurance agents, the financial advisors, and the car salesman for a second. These are all hyper competitive industries to the
Hmm.
point where every networking event that you go to, you will likely run into at least one of them from each field. Maybe not car salesmen because they're not, active networkers, but for sure, realtors, insurance agents, loan officers, and what have you. So, marketing may get people through the door, but your personal brand is what keeps them coming back. Nobody can sell you better than a satisfied customer. What is
Hmm.
the best way to get satisfied customers? Well, first off, you have to create opportunities for you to sell based off of your personal brand, which is largely what people say about you when you are not in the room. That is one of the reasons why I always say, photography, specifically really, really high end photography, it's not an expense, it's an asset. It's an asset that you put across all social media. A good picture is worth 1,000 words because it shows your personality and it really allows you to tell your brand story. And when you start doing that correctly, you know what? Now you have content that does a lot of the heavy lifting for you, creating opportunities for you to sell, allowing your audience to warm up to you over time.
Nice, for sure, 100% on all of that you just shared with the audience there when it comes to branding. But there was one key topic that caught my attention. There was the AI and how prevalent it is coming into the market. Kind of kicked off, what was it, 2020 with ChatGPT, and then since then it has snowballed literally to a massive avalanche that is wiping out a lot of the gurus, so to speak, but also giving people the tools needed to, one, save money, and two, just become better, right? It's like the invention of the calculator, but for marketing. Where do you see AI going to helping out the entrepreneur, from the courses and everything that you've taken?
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the way that I see it. Are the robots coming for your jobs? Yes, they always have been. Every business wants to make more money and they want to lower expenses. At a time where inflation is through the roof, good labor is hard to find, and the work ethic just is what it is. The idea of having the best employee that's not on payroll, which is AI, is really compelling. But here's the thing though, for the entrepreneur, for every single person that it puts out of work, it's never been easier for them to put on the entrepreneur hat and start a business. Because again, you know what? There's no lack of resources in the world. There isn't. There's simply a lack of resourcefulness. And one of the things that I love about this is you can hire ChatGPT as your market research firm and you can leverage it as your copywriter to get the word out on a shoestring budget. And you know what? If you want me to freestyle an example or anything, just for the sake of pouring into your audience, I'm happy to freestyle one with you real quick.
Yeah, spill the tea, man.
Yeah, so just give me an industry, random, and pick
Let
anything that you think.
let's talk an industry that I target. Let's talk target roofers.
Roofers. All right. So in the world of business, I'm sure we can agree, we all exchange money to solve problems. So like the idea is we join a chamber of commerce to solve the problem of lack of visibility, to solve the problem of growing our business. So what we can do is go on Chat GPT or Google Gemini and we can type in What are 5 problems that would cause someone to consider purchasing a new roof? Let's say that you want to get more specific. What are 5 problems that would cause someone to consider purchasing a new roof for an industrial manufacturing building? Now you have it niched out. So again, why is the problem important? Because that allows us to pinpoint what will actually make the phone ring in the first place. From there, we have something that makes the phone ring, so we can follow that up on Chat GPT and say, give me a specific audience that's most likely to experience each of the problems that are listed above. Now, for those of you who just connected the dots, right there, in a matter of seconds, you now have a target customer profile. Problem that makes the phone ring, audience that's most likely to experience. So that's on the market research side. Let's talk about the content. LinkedIn right over here allows you to have a free newsletter feature, which so many people are sleeping on. It is like a hidden gem that I don't know why more people aren't using. So the idea here is people think that you have to write all of these articles yourself. I encourage you to make them your own, but you can leverage ChatGPT for framework of an article using something called the APE format. APE stands for audience, problem, explanation. And what that could look like, let's say that I wanted to write an article here, is I could say, create a LinkedIn article to an audience of industrial manufacturing buildings who experience the problem of a leaky roof, explaining why it's a good idea for them to call me for a new one. And now you've turned that into a sales letter. 2 minutes or less, no tech skills really needed. You just need to learn how to ask AI to do the right thing.
Well, I think I might have to take this down and charge people to listen to this. That was absolutely amazing. All right, so moving on from that, how are you then, incorporating the AI and spill the secret? Where did you learn all this stuff from?
Yeah, so largely continuing education. You know what? The best investment you can ever make is in yourself. The truth is, you could read a book or you could hire the author. And the one thing that you can't get back in life is your time. So there's a guy named Billy Gina's Marketing that I highly, highly recommend anybody who's curious about this to follow. I've taken, at this point, I think 4 or 5 rounds of his 16-week AI marketing course that goes deep on how to leverage AI to start a marketing agency. And what I found, my niche is the 3 S's: the salespeople, the speakers, and the solopreneurs. All people that are production based roles, but they are often too small for marketing agencies to work with. So, what I do is I show them how to keep marketing in house by leveraging AI.
Nice, nice. And how are you incorporating it in your own tech stack?
Yeah, so for me, largely the LinkedIn newsletter. I have one that goes out twice a week, targeting set audience. It's called the Do It Yourself Marketing Alliance. So I leverage AI for the ideas, the framework. I have it write the article, and then I revise it and make it my own, so I actually know what's in it, and so it's worded in my voice. As far as additional ideas for AI, what what most people don't know is you can take memes and you can turn them into advertisements that your audience will willingly share. So there's something that I'll talk about in a little bit called the heat method. If I need meme ideas or content ideas, I'll leverage ChatGPT as my thinking partner.
Nice. Memes definitely sell. That is one key strategy that I am focusing on for a company that I do some marketing for, Durable Safety Signs. Like all their social media posts are just memes, which are starting to get a little bit of traction. It's taking some time, but they are working and we are getting noticed. In fact, I had a company reach out the other day wanting to share our stuff. So definitely need to be funny in the marketing. But you mentioned this framework, Heat. What is that?
Yeah, so it's a 4 part framework that if you check off all 4 of these boxes, I kid you not, you will have the ability to now meet somebody in person one time at a networking event, add them across social media, and based off of what you post, they warm up to you over time. It combines humor, education, adding value, and trust to build a personal brand that really does the selling for you. Now, what's interesting, before I elaborate on it, and with a background in marketing, I'm sure you're aware of a lot of these stats, but your audience might not be. So, if you were to guess, Brandon, how much time do you think the average person spends a day on social media?
Well, if I base it on myself, probably 7 hours a day.
Okay.
That's probably way too much, but I'm in there, right? So I got to be on there.
So, here's what's interesting: average screen time a day is a little over 5 hours. social media, believe it or not, go on Google and look this up right now too. So if you were to go on Google and type in, what does the average person spend a day on social media? A whole bunch of studies will come out, but they're all around 2.5 hours a day. Now, that may not seem like much, but I'd like to put this in a perspective. There's 24 hours in the day, and we're supposed to get 8 hours of sleep, which is 16 remaining hours. And 2.5 of those are spent on social media. Take 2.5 over the course of a year, 864 hours, which is the equivalent to 36 full days a year. That is what we spend on these platforms. It is insane. So, like, if you are a business owner and you're not at least posting a handful of times a week on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, what are you doing? But we can't just throw stuff against the wall because the average person sees between 4,000 and 10,000 ads every single day. So
Mm-hmm.
like half of the battle marketing is getting noticed, the other half is getting remembered. And here's what's really interesting too. Facebook did a study that said the amount of time that we spend on average with a piece of content. Do you happen to know that stat? Or better yet, what do you think that number is?
10 seconds, maybe? Probably even less than that.
I wish it was 10 seconds, man. From mobile device, it's 1.7 seconds. From
Mm.
desktop, it's 2.5. So truly, less is more. Why did I bring these stats up? Because take a look at a meme for a second. It's way more than a picture. It's visual storytelling. Memes are nothing more than a picture with a caption. That's it. But being in marketing, you know the power of good imagery, and you also know the power of a good headline. Headline is the only thing that's on a meme. Picture is the only visual that's on there. So you have a really good headline and a really good picture that people will willingly share. So let's say that you wanted to use that roofing example earlier. I can literally go and type in dumpster fire on any, sort of stock image website or imageflip.com, which is where a lot of people go and source these, and I throw a caption over it that says how it feels when your roof is 30 years old. Now, if I own a roofing company, that just became an advertisement. And the science behind here is because it's funny, people go on social media so that they can be entertained. That's where the audience is. Us as business owners, we go on social media so we can sell and promote, which means there is a massive disconnect, and you are able to bridge that gap by using humor. So that's the first part of the heat method, which is humor. Why is that important? Because when people laugh, they tend to remember what made them laugh. And in this case, that's you, and that's how you cut through the noise. The problem with this is if you just use humor, and I made that mistake for many years, people start to say, hey, are you a comedian, or can you actually help solve my problem? So you have to blend that with education. Why is the education piece important? Again, because people exchange money to solve problems. People exchange money with you to solve the problem of building a sales funnel or building some sort of marketing assets. So when you blend education in that, humor says, hey, all jokes aside, like I'm a person. I can actually like go out and have a beer with you. We can hang. But you blend that with education, and now your audience says, "Hey, this person's cool, but they can actually help me." Because when you sell, you break rapport, but when you educate, you build it. That's how you become a resource versus a salesperson. So, like before I even go into the other two, I promise if you are listening to this right now and you say, "Hey, forget the other two. I just want to blend humor and education together." My promise to you is you will notice a dramatic spike in your engagement just by doing those two things. And it's very simple. And if you're like, how can I get some education based marketing? Do that newsletter that I just shared with you. Not only that, you can go on Canva and take your Instagram or your Facebook or your LinkedIn headshot and turn it into one of those quote graphics that you see. Very simple. 2 minutes or less, you can do that. The third area is my personal favorite, and it's the most important, and that's adding value. It's 2025, and we live in a world of scams.
Mm.
Like, I don't think there's anybody that would disagree with that. It seems like every day or every week that goes by, we hear about some sort of data breach or some sort of scam. So it's not what you say, it's not even how you say it. It's how your audience feels when they
Yep.
receive your message. And when you focus in on simply enhancing and enriching the lives of your audience as opposed to making a sale, they feel that. But the thing is, when you introduce something of value to somebody, they associate that value with you. I assume, Brandon, in the marketing space, you've read at least one of Alex Hermosi's books.
Yep, both of them. And, waiting on the third one. Just heard a podcast the other day that they actually pushed it back, which I get, but, I want to read that third book.
The guy's that good. And if you're listening to this and you're not following Alex Hermosi, you 100% should. Two of the best books that I've ever read in my entire life: $100 million Offers, $100 million Leads. Huge Russell Brunson fan. Obviously, you're rocking the hat. Definitely read his books too. But to pull one quote out, when you introduce something of value to somebody, they associate that value with you. Why is that important? Because think of your hobbies, your interests, your TV shows that you're interested in, whatever it is. You introduce all of these things of value to your network in a non-business way, they start to feel like you're helping them out. And free value leads to trust. People do business with those who they know, like, and trust, and nobody can sell you better than a satisfied customer. So if you collect reviews and then you repurpose them, that's your social proof. You're able to meet somebody in person one time, add them on social media, and they warm up to you over time by doing all four of those. And I know that was a mouthful, but that is the HEAT method in a nutshell.
And again, another amazing framework to take home. Definitely save this and replay it so you can get all of those juicy notes there. And you made a lot of great points. I was thinking when you brought up Hermosi, he gives away a lot of stuff for free. And if you think about it, I mean, his book isn't free. It's a buck on Amazon or whatever, but the barrier of entry is so low and you're getting so much for it. It kind of puts you indebted to him if you think about it. It's like you have to then go back to them to give him something in return. And now that might not be his initial goal or whatever, but the psychology behind it is phenomenal. And if you know and realize and understand that nothing in the world is free, you definitely have to pay with time or money. Paying it back to that person, that's why everything comes back tenfold when you give it out there.
100%. Actually, to go a layer deeper on that, that's 100% the strategy. I just want to pull another really powerful concept out of, I think it was Leeds that he brought this up, but before people pay with their money, they pay with their time. They pay with their time consuming your content to figure out if you're even worth hiring. So the idea is you give the house away for free to earn somebody's trust. But what's better than free is fast. You live in Ohio, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can get free tickets to Cedar Point. But if you have to wait in line for 3 hours in every single ride, free just became not fun. So the idea is you can either read the book for free or inexpensive, or you can hire the author. So free versus fast. Extremely powerful concept that I got out of that book.
Absolutely. So getting into a little bit more of the personal side there, who are your biggest inspirations when it comes to business and entrepreneurship?
Personally, I would say Billy Gene is marketing. Definitely follow him if you're not. Ryan Stewman, there's a mastermind called Apex that I've been a part of for about 7 years. In the car business, you may be familiar with this gentleman, Jonathan Dawson with Cellcology, Alan Dickey with Ace Selling Systems. I mean, a lot of these mentors and a lot of these communities I've invested in over the years taught me the ins and outs of sales and marketing, and allowed me to get to where I'm at as a speaker to finally take that entrepreneurial leap.
Right, nice. Yeah, I've been on Billy Jean's list for a while now, and I've yet to pull the trigger. And I'm mad I missed out on that one deal that he put out there where he gave away everything for $1. I probably should have bought it, but I was so deep into Brunson stuff, I didn't want to buy another thing and get distracted.
100%. Brunson's also way up there too. I forgot to mention him. I've got a lot of respect for that guy.
So, and then when it comes to the daily practices, what do you do and have in place that just helps you stay as productive and creative as possible?
Every day I'm posting at least once on one social media platform, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Multiple times a week, I'm hitting networking events just to get that in-person connection, because you know what? There's people that are going to be forced into entrepreneurship because of AI. So, if you're forced into it and you go off on your own, one of the easiest places to start is a chamber of commerce or some sort of networking event. So I feel like those are going to grow a lot over the years. Every single day, I'm having at least, let's just say Monday through Friday, I'm having at least 1 to 2 virtual coffee meetings or Zooms once a week. I got a goal to get on a new podcast to get content and give it out. So just packing the calendar with production-based activities.
And if you could go back to when you started it all what would you do differently?
So, great question. Which facet? My personal business, selling cars, DJ business? Because there's definitely different areas that I can answer that question in.
It would be the business side of it when you decided to branch out from the cars and start your own business.
So, if I could do anything and let's put it this way, have an active funnel with a email campaign set up before I took the leap. Because you can only be awake X amount of hours a day. But if you automate emails to go out on your behalf, or you have some sort of system and process that is put in place, leveraging technology, you just buy back your time. It's a way better return on effort. So you set something up once, and from there it's all automated. I wish I did that about 2 years ago, along with started building my YouTube channel.
Nice. Yeah, the email marketing a is a godsend. Literally, I mean, it has the biggest return on investment, 43 to 1 or 38 to 1, depending on which article that you are reading. And having those automations set up with that drip campaign is definitely key to warm up your audience and get them to know, like, and trust you, which is part of that, that heat framework there. So, Alan, this has been a masterclass of all masterclasses. Again, I may end up taking this down and put this behind a paywall. Literally, let's sum up everything for the listeners. What are the key takeaways that they should be definitely taking note of after they listen to this?
Yeah, absolutely. So, key takeaways again, before people buy from a brand, they buy from a person that represents your brand, represents a brand. So, when you blend humor and education together by using that heat method, you're able to show your personality in your marketing so it connects, but at the same time, demonstrate that you can actually help somebody. And I just want to throw this out there again, no strings attached. If you want like a professional keynote of me breaking down the heat method and how you can use it for your business, just go to dropsomeheat.com. Literally, dropsomeheat.com, fill out the form, and then I'll send it to you. My gift, just for you, the entrepreneur community, a couple other free resources. Again, hear me here. There is no lack of resources in the world. There's just a lack of resourcefulness. Imageflip.com, imgflip.com, biggest directory of memes on the internet. You can take one, turn it into an advertisement in 30 seconds. Canva, all you need is a free account to take your headshot and turn it into one of those quote graphics. And a free account on ChatGPT is all you need to knock out that ape format that I mentioned earlier. And then you just bring that over to LinkedIn and you start your newsletter. And to close it all up, what we were talking about with email marketing, if you're like, hey, I know I need to get one of these, but what do I post? Create your LinkedIn newsletter first because it's free. And then literally bring those articles to your email campaign, whether it's something that's on ClickFunnels, High Level, Keep, MailChimp, HubSpot, any one of these, copy and paste your articles and just repurpose it. So other than that, it's been a pleasure jamming out with you today, Brandon. I appreciate the opportunity. Is there anything else you need from me before we wrap?
Yeah, just let everybody know where they can reach out and get in contact with you, man.
Yeah, so if you want to connect, my personal microsites is connect with alanstern.com. It's spelled exactly how it sounds, ALANSTERN. If you're interested in a microsite, go to getamicrosite.com. All the info's on there. If it's a good fit, love to chat with you and see how I could be a resource. Other than that, just remember, if you want to make a big impact with your marketing on a small budget, all you got to do is drop some heat.
There you go, man. Hey, thank you so much for coming on and providing such valuable content for my listeners there. And if you really loved this episode, leave a comment below. Let us know what you got out of it and what more you want to get from it. Much appreciated, Alan. Again, it's been a blast. Thank you for listening to the Business Growth Accelerator. This is Brandon signing off.
Great episode, man. Thank you again for the opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.